Welcome to Occult Vidya, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about SIDDHIDATRI, the Ninth Chaitra Navratri. And that is the last stage of spiritual evolution till we reach the highest level of universal consciousness. We have already covered 8th, this is 9th day, and let me again start a sequence in the process that we understand from 1st to the 9th level today, one by one, as a sequence of understanding 10 plus chakras, one and large. Over and over, I've been making one thing very clear. The first thing which comes to my mind to make me what I am today, it is Satya, Satya and Sat. And without Sat completely, you cannot reach universal consciousness at all. Aham Brahmasmi is one of the greatest statements in Upanishads and Akhand Bharat as such. That means we, the human beings, are the microcosmic representation of the macrocosmic universe. Entire universe and human beings are identical. We are made in the same image of the God. When I talk of the God, it is a universal consciousness as we can see. Whenever we are in distress, we have a problem, we always look up to the universe which is consistent, and we want that consistent within us. And that knowledge of consistent universal consciousness has made me reach Divyang by and large, step by step in the last 70 years. From that first 7 years of my life, I was only looking up to nature with pure consciousness, which is not at all influenced by any of the things on the earth, by anyone. Thank God my parents were illiterate, my elders were illiterate, and they led a truthful life, helping people by and large. Their truth, non-violence and conscientiousness was my lesson from the day one, and looking at the same truth in the universe made me realize that we are made in the design of nature, and the search for the perfect divine mathematics, physics, chemistry and medical sciences started as a child who looked at the nature design with all the meticulousness of precision and integrated way. From day one till today, I stick to the truth, truth and truth, non-violence, 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 and contentment and the need-based life, not anything other. We are on the earth as a guest. Let's enjoy the Bhumi and be thankful to Bhumi and do that as one of our thing to take care of Bhumi. And as far as ancestors are concerned, Pitra Rin, let us be perfect human beings, get married and produce children which are impeccable wisdom for everyone. And similarly understand the divine nature, Devya Rin, and all the three rins which we understand, Bhumi Rin, Pitra Rin and Deva Rin. Only then we can reach the universal consciousness step by step. These are the three things of the foundation thing, and truth and conscientiousness is the base. And this is something which I found the design of the solar system and the spiral galaxy by and large very intriguing, very interesting, has brought me to Divyang step by step. It might have taken me 60 years, but it's worth looking, seeking that knowledge for the first time in the history of mankind, reaching Divyang level and then rectifying all the defects we have in the world with Divyang is something which I've been talking about. 9th level, we have reached it. 10th, you are going to see that beauty much better tomorrow. And then we'll start discussing each and every subject in the light of Divyang and Akhandata by and large. Now, as I told you, the most perfect thing in the universe is the human brain, most evolved. But I'm very sorry to say, no one in the world actually knows real beauty of the outer three layers of neocortex. This is where I go and say No neuroscientist knows even the three outer layers and their functions within the body. They know all the sensory components come up to fourth layer, and all the motor components start from the fourth layer. First, second and third are not at all used, and that's the reason nobody knows about the functions. But I'm glad that with the kind of spiritual science, with the kind of work, I've been able to experience the three outer layers and realize what it is. You're going to see that now. And I do know three outer neocortex are like the antenna to ionosphere of the Akash Kosh, which records all the past, present, and future as such. And ionosphere, or the Schumann resonance field, has got three frequencies. Inner frequencies, which is closer to Earth, is 7.83 Hertz, and that is what I am interested. Other two frequencies I am not at all interested. This is enough for me because I am the Earth, I am a human being. That is the closest record for me to understand of ionosphere or Akash Kosh. That's enough. To prove the point that I have moved on with my PhD research work, starting to realize the world that every neuroscientist of the world says 10.5 Hertz alpha frequency with the mind at rest, eyes closed, with all the senses at closure, can be seen from posterior part of the brain. Rest of the brain does not even show. This is 100 years research throughout the world as considered to be perfect. But in my case, I am able to produce 8 Hertz frequency in all the 64 parts of the brain with all the senses open, with open eyes, with the mind functioning, with complete awareness of the universal consciousness, inner and outer. That it was a phenomenal achievement for my PhD work, and thereafter, as far as the scientific approach of the brain itself is concerned, I think this has put me in tune with Akash Kosh, and the information I am able to get from Akash Kosh with the help of my indwelling soul, Aditi, Kundalini or Antaratma is another beautiful thing which I want the world to understand. Unless until you come to this level, you will never be able to understand the human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, or the universal consciousness and know the perfection. And without that, you cannot have a perfect academic syllabus, research, or publication, because everything which is defective is making people get divided in the name of religion, in the name of democratic education, democracy, compromising, trying to help each other has not at all helped. Truth is bitter, but that is truth, bitter truth only is able to correct us on the path of impeccable wisdom. Now come to the question, that particular genuine statement which I am making here, all the impeccable wisdom which Akhand Vidyashram is talking about is founded on my personal spiritual science experiences and integrated divine mathematical conviction which I have. I have moved on from the zero level as a child to Divyank step by step. But nothing is copied from any of the books or everything. As a matter of fact, every book from Ved, Upanishads to scriptures to maths, physics, chemistry to all the 64 arts I have questioned. By analyzing, I find all the available knowledge throughout the world is filled with one defect or the other, and those things I am removing. But at the same time, I do believe and I am convinced there are many things in the east or the west, north or south, which world has given in the form of astronomy, astrology, other sciences which are truthful. So Divyank by and large and Akhand Vidyashram by and large is bringing only thing which is uniformly accepted by everyone and concentrate only on that which is imperfect. How it is replaced with Divyank is what I am talking about. Now, let me tell you this question which I was asked, did Aryabhatta invent zero? And I said no. Zero has been as a shunya from Rigved itself, from the beginning of publication itself. And when we say of shunya, it is Atma, the soul, the dot and zero from which everything has started. How dot, Atma, zero discovered by human beings and moved on mathematically from zero level to Divyank has taken the world so many decades and millenniums, but it is worth coming to realize Divyank in 2015. With Divyank, all the knowledge which we have, I am trying to rectify and give it to the world as an impeccable wisdom. In that precept, one of the stories which is very, very ideal to me, very dear to me, very enlightening to me, educating to me, empowering me, is the story of creation of goddess Durga, who was created to kill Mahishasura. Now let's see that story. Mahishasura is a buffalo demon, we all know it. And he could not be killed by anyone other than a female, is also reality we know. He thought no female will be ever be able to kill him. That is the statement which Mahishasura had. But then when he had all the powers of all the gods by and large, including Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and others, he started terrorizing everyone, including gods on the earth, on the atmosphere and the gods, all the three lokas. He terrorized everybody. That's the time when they all got together to pray to Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and all the divinity, all the universal consciousness to create goddess Durga. But let me also make it clear once again, over and over I have been saying, I have been under the influence that goddess Durga or Mata Vaishno Devi is with 8 arms. And I thought that was the ultimate. But now I realize when she was created to kill Mahishasura and Raktavij, Chanda, Munda and other asuras, she was with 18 arms, not 8 arms. And she represents exactly like goddess Adi Prashakti of 18 arms. And she represents the divine mother of creation, because everything like Adi Prashakti has come from Durga alone. Let's see that. Now this particular picture shows how you can see Mahishasura lying on the earth as a buffalo king and killed. And again in this particular thing we have only lion, which is the king of jungle, the most powerful and most beautiful thing about lion. It does work only when there is a need for it, but at the same time it continues to work to protect every other thing by and large. So as a vehicle of goddess Durga, as a lion, I say it's again a phenomenal thing on the choice of the most powerful animal which has the ferocious. No wonder in India, the symbol of India is with Singh alone. And incidentally, when I see an astrology point of view, it is the sun which is represented in Leo as such, which is same Rashi again. I think that's a phenomenon. Now you the goddess Durga, as you can see, as a, this is, many people call it Chamundeshwari. But whether Chamundeshwari or Durga, whatever it is, this is one Durga alone and got 18 arms. And I think that has a lot of scientific wisdom, which I'm going to talk about it step by step for the world to get glint in the brain that we should look at the science and spirituality on the matching parts, which can make us get the impeccable wisdom for the universal consciousness one by one. Now, this is a particular temple near Mysore in Dakshin Bharat, which has got 7 layers of floors. That 7 layers of floors have something wisdom of the Oz architects who made this particular temple. But as since the columns are concerned, are only 5 plus 1, 10, 10. And that also speaks volumes one by one as we move on. So ancient Indian scriptures as well as symbols as well as temples had also so much of science in it, which people have not even looked at it. This is phenomenal. From we are going to see the beauty as we move on. Now this particular picture is a Chamundeshwari in that particular temple, which has 18 arms by and large. I think that also speaks volumes. Ki symbolic representation of gods and goddesses by the perfect artists who were like Brahmins in tune with universal consciousness is what I am talking about. I am not talking of every artwork of the gods and goddesses by artists who just want to play with the system without the wisdom. I'm trying to eliminate that. I'm picking only the ones which have the perfection, which is not perfect. I'm not even touching on that. Now come to the question of spiritual science to modern science as such. You have to see the periodic table as switched down. You can see 7 columns on the left side are the 7 periods of the temple. Then as far as groups are concerned, 18 only. But in the groups of 18 is also further divided into 3 components. If you look at the first line, hydrogen and helium have got only 2. The next 2 have got 8. And then third you have 18. And the fourth you have 36. And that is the science which I am talking about. I am not using 18, it's even 36. You can see at the right part. 1, 2, 2 and 2. I think it's again a phenomenal thing which will make us realize how beautiful is the science, how designed is science, how ionic form of the science, whether it is sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium, magnesium, or for that matter, fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodine, as such also speaks volume in the presence of water to tell us that these noble gases, whether it's helium, whether it's you have neon, whether you have argon 40, or you have krypton or xenon, they also are the one which give us the power of divine nature to be in tune with universal consciousness. I think let's stick to that. Now this is a picture of Adi Parashakti which is well known in internet, but in this she is shown as the mother of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. And I do believe there are 9 lotus petals on top. There must be 9, and this is what it is. So she is the divine mother, like a goddess Durga, in which everything is created. And that I think speaks volumes about understanding ancient Indian wisdom of Ved, Upanishad and those scriptures which were originally written only in Sanskrit. Let me tell you, all the translations of Sanskrit into any of the Indian languages or foreign languages has been very, very defective. Finally, to get the wisdom, I had to go back to original Sanskrit and learn it in context, the whole concept, and then found how beautiful is the Sanskrit, how beautifully are those akshas, how beautiful are those shabdas, and how are the mantras, how are the universal consciousness so beautifully embedded in Veds, Upanishads and scriptures of pure Sanskrit by and large. I think they taught me how to be in tune with universe. No wonder all the mantras of Vedas, Upanishads, etc. Shruti, that is the divine language which nature is talking about. Unless until you go to that light of purity with as a pure vegetarian, no alcohol, no drugs, no smoking, nothing at all which is can stimulate your mind or suppress your mind or kill your mind is useful. You need a mind to be perfectly active. It's a power which gives you to analyze the difference between untruth and truth, and tamas to light and death to immortality comes only through the language which is pure in every form, and that's it. Now coming to the voice of silence and mind is Aditi, and I am made to understand during the course of 3 years I was in Shri Mata Vaishno University between 2005 and 2008. That Mata Vaishno Devi is reincarnation of goddess Durga. And why? After the battle of right over evil finished in Vijayadashmi, ancient times, goddess Durga wanted to get married to Lord Vishnu, because Lord Vishnu has got 10 dimensions. And Vishnu told her very clearly, you are a divine mother, you are not in human form. And human forms only can get married, can incarnate, can evolve. All the divinities by and large are not as perfect as the human being by and large. You take birth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari and then move on to Trikuta mountain where she is there and doing tapasya to reach the level of highest level of universal consciousness, and that is what. And that particular picture in Mata Vaishno Devi as such with 8 arms, which is Agni Bhuta, I understand. And no wonder Mata Vaishno Devi think Agni Homam is very, very popular. And she is evolving to reach Goddess Durga with 10 arms or Adi Prashakti with 18 arms. And let me move on to that stage. Now this is the map of Akhand Bharat. Kanyakumari as the last part of India, which is surrounded by 3 oceans: Arabian Ocean, Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. And that is where sunrise and sunset are beautiful by and large. When sun rises there, it is like Brahmani, Gayatri, mantra at that time, and evening is Rudrani with ultraviolet rays. Ultra red or infrared, morning is golden ultraviolet, and that beauty has also to understand. Then moving to Trikuta, which is my child place, where I have taken birth this time to sit in her lap and learn from her entire universal consciousness. And over I said, Bhakti Yoga towards Mata Vaishno Devi is my strength. And she is my mother. I sit in her lap, and she is the one who has given me all the knowledge till date. And I make it very clear. It was unconscious, directly between me and her, without me anything. I knew the answer. But after being initiated to simplified Kundalini Yoga in 1991, 1st January, it has become a conscious that me, my dialogue with Mata Vaishno Devi are the higher sources is through Aditi or Kundalini by and large. I think that is the basis for Tret Paravidya by and large. So, Shibhushan Sharma Jivatma is a student, innocent, absolutely nothing, but I have learnt everything through my mind, my body to experience with the help of Aditi, Goddess Durga, Gayatri, Adi Prashakti, and all the divinities of earth, because these all are connected in Tret Pravidya, which is new philosophy, which is better than Dvait and Advait, is also something I have spoken about it. Now from coming back to Katra, this is the temple, Trikuta mountain right on top, the 3 mounts, Trikutas. They speak Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. I see an external side, it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. But inside the temple, in the cave, you have 3 pindis of Mata Saraswati, Lakshmi and Mahakali. Those 3 things are the consorts of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. I think that was something which I realized as a child, and I learnt from that. Earlier unconsciously, now superconsciously, what it stands in the light of divine mathematics from 0 to Divyank is a result of my sitting in her lap and learning divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, medical sciences one by one. It has taken me so many years, worth it. Now this is the picture which is of Dattatreya, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, which I see at Trikuta mountain, but is a 6 arm is like a carbon. But Vaishno Devi has 8 arms, is like oxygen. So carbon, oxygen and hydrogen put together are the one which form carbohydrates, which is the fundamental thing. And again, lipids are made from same carbohydrate, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. But then protein, other thing go on. I think that also has been explained. But all these things I understood in the periodic table, atoms, elements, molecules, compounds, cells to the universal consciousness, I've experienced all within my body. As a result, I'm able to understand this. Only you need an experience of unity within you, that you can experience the beauty of external world within you, and only then you become Aham Brahmasmi. Then one thing which I do realize, I am looking at the knowledge which I can attribute from Veda. Aitreya Upanishad is an Upanishad which is based on Rig Veda. All the beauty of Rig Veda is all the atom, element, molecules and compounds as such. But same thing is translated in Aitreya Upanishad as the creation of Lokpalan, custodian and guardian. When the guardian is created, only 8 divinities are brought into the picture. 5 are Bhumi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. Then comes the mind, then comes the creation, then comes the superness. And I think those 8 elements are the 8 divinities where the 8 arms of goddess Durga represent that. And there is nothing 7 or 9, it's 8 only. I think that has made me realize if you have to be a perfect human being, you got to know all the 8 first. That means hydrogen, helium, carbon and oxygen. Then remaining thing come later one by one, which I understand. But up to oxygen level 8, and out of that 4 are very important: hydrogen, helium, carbon and oxygen, because they give the foundation knowledge of both carbohydrates and antaratma. Now come to the question of aditi, which is second. Hydrogen is most abundant in the universe, is known. Second is helium. But what I have understood that Lord Surya, Aditya, is the teacher which Upanishad talk about it. That means hydrogen, 4 atoms or elements unite together to form helium-4 and at 6000 degree temperature in the core produces helium-4, and that is our antaratma. That means it can stay as such. It cannot be cut, dissolved otherwise. I think that's the beauty of Aditi. And no wonder in Vedas, Aditi is the mother and daughter of Daksha the king. But in Upanishad, Aditi is the mother and daughter of Aditya the sun. I think that's again a beautiful thing which made me realize, bring it together to proton-proton nuclear reaction by the modern science has helped me to understand concept. So that way, hats off to modern science, the kind of work they have done. But I'm only trying to show little improvement in adding to it. But the foundation of modern science has made it very clear. But I'm very sorry to say, the scriptures, real spirituality of Ved, Upanishad scriptures is not at all known to any of the spiritual gurus who are talking about. Because without the knowledge of maths, physics, chemistry and modern sciences, spirituality cannot be understood. They are two sides of the same coin, and I'm just trying to bridge that. That's one. Now come to the 7 pillars which I have spoken. My foundation is in Satya, Satya and Satya. Second, Dharma, Dharma, Dharma. Righteousness to the core, Ahimsa on the whole. This is Advaita. Then Bhakti Yoga, devotion toward Mata Vaishno Devi, Gayatri, Aditi, Adi Prashakti, etc. All the divinity, all the gods and goddesses, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, whatever it is. I say they are the beauty. I am trying to understand with the devotion, my self-surrender to them without questioning, asking them to give me the knowledge. Then I am trying to understand the knowledge I give into the world. My complete Arthik Pranali, economics, actions have led me to moksha, freedom from all the constraint and restraint, as Shibhushan Sharma as Jivatma and Antaratma Aditi and Paramatma, of course, all the gods and goddesses. Let's put together, and that is Tretpatan. Then, having understood, come to that stage of the mind which is perfectly in tune with, not killing it, but making it more vibrant. I have learnt what is the Gyan or philosophy as such at the 4th level. Then from Gyan to Vigyan, scientific level, was the 5th level. From there to relative wisdom to absolute wisdom was the 6th one. Then bringing out divine mathematics, Divyank, as the 7th level, has completed my journey from 0 to this level step by step, and that is what I am sharing with the world. Now, Shalputra, I told you, the first level of Mata Vaishno Devi or Goddess Durga's first day after mind is completely at control. And only then shall Putri, the first child, is born with inner consciousness. When I talk about, that's the divinity as such comes up. That means that is the level when Aditi is going to arise. She was sleeping in Muladhara Chakra. Now she is woken up. Now she is going to enlighten me with the knowledge of myself and the universe as such. That's the first stage of evolution. The mind, which is powerful, and now mind is going to become consciousness and make me realize the beauty of universal consciousness. And I see Shailputri, great girl, first step to enlighten me as my divine mother. As I said, this is sprouting of Ankur of the first thing is Shailputri. And that's the beginning of rising to understand the human body, solar system, spiral galaxy, and universal consciousness starts only with Saitri. Shailputri can tell me through the medium of Aditi how the universe is made. She is my medium to be in tune with universal consciousness. She has got the power of producing 8 hertz alpha frequency in every part of my brain and take me to Akash Kosh. And I think this is where the journey starts with Shailputri. The next comes the stage that she is connected with Muladhara Chakra, which has 4 petals, as Sat Chakra Nirupana talks about the first picture, Lam with the 4, and then that's picture which I have made. And then I have shown it connecting it with the nervous system, where 2 pains, Ida and Pingla, are the left and right sympathetic chain with the 22 ganglion, and 1 at bottom. 45 from 28 is Divyank alone. I think that's a phenomenal knowledge, bringing it to the physical anatomy with Muladhara Chakra itself. I think that was beautiful thing because everybody has to have spiritual science as a base, not something which everybody is talking about. Let me not talk of 7 chakras. Let me talk of 10.34419 spirals of human chakras. Now come to the Shailputri. She is the goddess Aditi, which is sleeping in Muladhara Chakra when we go to sleep. When she wakes up, she becomes a conscious thing, and when she comes up to that, she gives me all the knowledge of the perfect human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, and as a result, I am a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy because Goddess Aditi is helping me to do a conscientious work without even single mistake. What others would take 12 hours to understand is more than a second for me to understand the concept as I look at it. Because for me the enlightening comes from Aditi itself. She is a part of that, she knows it. And once I listen to that, I understand that the 3 dialogues of Maharishi Yajnavalkya, Astoma Satgavya, take me from untruth to the truth. I think the first thing. And Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, take me for ignorance, darkness, to the light of the universal consciousness. Mrityurma Amritya, from my death body, make me immortal, that even after my physical death, I still be remembered for my impeccable wisdom, and I, out of all the gods and goddesses and all the human beings other people, in the human form, the person I admire the most is Maharishi Yajnavalkya, and he is the one I understand has given me better knowledge than anything other than, but there are others also. But a sense, I still believe in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and thing comes from Yajnavalkya more than any other individual. It's a divine mathematician. We are going to see as we move on. Done, Shailputri, as again. Now I'm coming to another component of Navratri are the 9 days. Also Navagraha, we should talk about it. In Navagraha we have Sun. All the 7 days are there, which represent 7 powerful divinities on the earth. We can see of the solar system as such. You have the Sun, you have the Mercury, you have the Venus, you have the Mars, you have the Jupiter, you have the Saturn are the 7 thing. All the 7 days are connected with the, as such I have already shown. But there are 2 things in Navagraha, Rahu and Ketu, which have not been explained by anybody with respect to 9 of the most important heavenly bodies in the solar system. So from that connection, when the Mooladhara chakra, I say it is connected with Bhumi or Mother Earth, and that is Rahu's head. And that is connected with Matsya, and that's also with water, and that's the picture you are seeing it as such. That was enlightening for me. Okay, Rahu is Bhumi, not a polarity of moon. Now come to Shalputri. Fish is the first thing which is the revolving as a vertebral thing, which even Darwin talks about it. First stage of Vishnu's avatar is Matsya, and this has been spoken. I think that is a beautiful thing of starting journey as a vertebrate, which is human beings as the most evolved. But we are vertebrates. Let's leave it at that. Then second stage of brahmachari shows it is not asexual reproduction. The girl which was Shalputri was a perfect one before menstruation. But after menstruation, she comes to the stage to become the divine mother as such, and that is brahmachari. A man who has become to be a consort and she has to be consort together as Satyavan Savitri. They are the perfect couple to produce wisdom of the highest order for the universe as such. And I think I take that also very stage of creation. When come to the brahmachari, I understand the first thing was autonomic nervous system, particularly sympathetic, united at the bottom where apana prana comes important and you are perfectly healthy. When come to the second stage, sacral parasympathetic system, which is the second part, which is the divine qualities of male and female as a father and mother with the love and care to create generation for next as Pitra Rin. First was the Bhumi Rin, which we get from earth. In Mooladhara, we do that. We should take care of mother, take care of everything on the earth for everybody. But come to the we are Pitra, our ancestors are responsible. We should produce with love aspect. That Rin is second thing which Brahmachari talks about it. Now, first we have Lam as the phonetic sound is a Vam, which is associated with Vamamar. Again, love as such, leave it at that. And there are 6 chakras here, whereas Mooladhara got 4. 4 and 6 is again Divyank ratio. I think that's amazing. Now come to the question, the planet which is connected with Brahmachari is Venus. This is a love creation planet, which is also associated with Shukra or Shukracharya, which is again the one which respects love between husband and wife, Shakta and Shakti, to be universal consciousness, and it's connected with Venus. And I think whole West and East knows this is love God, and I think we leave it at that. Now the come to question of she associated with tortoise, the kurma, the second thing, and kurma is the one on which Meru mountain was used for churning of oceans. And I do believe Meru mountain is like a vertebral column, and kurma is the sacral part, and how designed all the things required for perfect human being are churned together in that, and I think that is also a beautiful thing in the Dasavtar. Now I am showing it as physical anatomy. Sacral parasympathetic, there are 5 vertebrae in sacrum part. Out of that, 3 pairs come on each side. There are 6 numbers. They supply 5 organs which are connected with reproduction. By and large, I have shown it. That's it. Now come to question. Since I am in tune with Brahmachar within me, which is a perfect human being character, and Brahmachari within my consort, as a one perfect, we as a couple, we know, understand, I am able to conceive female better than anybody else because they are not in love with their consorts at all. So how can you understand female consciousness if you do not consider to be an integral part of Shiv and Shakti? Adi Prashakti. Since I considered my consort to be Adi Prashakti, so I am able to understand Shakti part much better than anything, and I have gone on record to say Shakti is 61.8034%, whereas Shakti is only 38.1966%. That means the power in females as a grahast is able to give you more wisdom than male can get it by and large. And having understood that, and I think I have come to level. Females Shakti is Pujniya, respect them, give them the power of economics, everything. They'll do a much better work at home and things like that. Maybe that's the reason I do believe I want my consort to be a Graha Lakshmi, take care of home, make it heaven, and have great children, great relatives, great friends. A heaven on earth can be created by Shakti alone. But only a Shakta who considers Shakti to be the one can actually understand female menstrual cycle, because you have been in tune with each other. Maybe that is the reason I am revealing the perfect human menstrual cycle for the first time with the help of Divyank, which no one has done in the world except Shibhushan Sharma till date. I think we don't have the love for our consorts, that we understand her anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry as perfectly as the male one. I understand both, and I think that is the wisdom of Divyank, that is Brahmachar, and that is Brahmacharni as such. Here is the structure. As far as males are concerned, I do know one spermatozoid produces 512 mature sperms, which is 10 times the value of 10 binary division. I think that's another amazing thing where science and spirituality experience within me has given me the wisdom which I'm sharing with. Now come to the third Chandra. Now this particular thing told me the third concept on chakras should be associated with moon. Chandra is moon, and that has Navratri has made me understand and rectify the mistake which I had done earlier. So when come to the third chakra of spiritual science, Vid is a fire element. That means Bhumi is the first one, Jal, water, is the second one, third is the heat energy, which is Chandra, reflection. I think has made me understand. Maybe that's the reason I'm emphasizing on this again and again in the last 9 days, and maybe tomorrow again I will do it. So that should be the clarity with which impeccable wisdom which we can move on. We are living a truthful knowledge for entire world as such. It is not to divide but to unite human beings with a perfect mind conscientiousness. Now in this particular picture you can see her in a pure Agni form alone. She is only blessing the light of energy and fire. Now come to the third chakra of Navi chakra, has only 10 petals, that is Sat chakra talks about it. And next is my picture which I made. You can see the Agni coming down and you see the 10, that means 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. You are seeing the Divyank number as such, and you have come to 20 petals. And here you have seen the moon, and why moon is very important is because it moves with the mind. Once mind is understood without any fluctuation, without any problem, without giving a drugs or anything, no excitation, no sublimation, but mind as such is the greatest teacher in the world. Indriya to mind are the first two stages of learning, and I think this is what it is all about. What I said about Muladhara and Swadhisthana are the Indriya, but mind gives me the power to understand that. I think that is third level very clearly, and that is what Navaratri is all about. Then come to the question of is Vara Avatar the wild boar? This revival of life. Is that statement, this revival of life is connected with Varaha, is something which we should understand. Now let me tell you from that. There is a story of Vijayadashmi in Ramayana where Sri Ram is not able to kill King Ravana at all. And he is attacked, he falls down, but Ravana wakes up again 9 times. But then Vishishan tells him, you cannot kill Ravan at all, he is very powerful, his life is in Navi. You attack him in the Navi, and after that he will not be able to wake up. That secret was revealed by Vishishan to Ram. Only then he attacked him in Navi Chakra, and that is the beautiful. After that he died. Is this a spiritual science, impeccable wisdom, or is a mythology, or it is a science? By and large is something which I am going to tell you now. Now comes the question, when I think of Chandragupta, Then I think the third level, when I think of Navi, it's the adrenal gland. It's an emergency gland for survival, come what may. Within the three levels, first, second, and third, you have all the things which will make you survive with the homeostasis perfectly. But when it comes to adrenal gland, it has got three layers in endocrine gland, and then fourth is a autonomic sympathetic hormones in the medulla. The first layer produces mineralocorticoids. That means it's responsible for analyzing and maintaining water and electrolytes. That's the most beautiful for homeostasis. Second is for glucocorticoid, which is essential for functioning as such. Water, electrolytes, and glucose is absolutely essential. The third one is stage is with the testosterone and estrogen, and the endocrines are required to make sure that we are perfectly healthy in every way. Testosterone is required for more RBC, more hemoglobin, more oxygen, more intelligence, more ojas to tejas is there only. I think that speaks volumes how the three layers can make you perfect in homeostasis. When final thing is same blood from first layer, second layer, third layer goes to the fourth layer, when it has all the hormones put together, it can produce a kind of electrolytes, and that electrolyte of catecholamine, sympathetic mimetic drugs will make sure that you will survive in any attack on vascular system, because to avoid bleeding of blood, it is sympathetic system which does the vasoconstriction as the first part at every level, and that is able to save. I think that speaks volumes that how this knowledge can actually so important. Then come to the fourth stage, and I talk about samana prana. The first one is apana, which is to throw out all the waste from the body. But at the fourth level is samana prana, which is connected with digestive system. That is spiritual. Without water, electrolytes, nutrients, other things, we cannot have a perfect homeostasis. To get from external world to the inner world, it is the fourth level of Manipura chakra which is important. And that is what this samana prana energy. Now in this particular picture of Kushmanda, you can see Amrit bowl in the hand and water. I think that Amrit is water, that is nutrients, that is what homeostasis is all about. I think that's very clear. This is again fire element only, but digestive fire for health, wealth and wisdom as such. When come to the question of Manipura chakra and Nabi are same 10 palms, I am not repeating it, it's same thing which I have given it, and the phonetic sound is Ram. Lam, Vam, Ram. Then Kushmanda is a connected planet is Mercury, which is neutral, like you have in a Kanya. It's neither a male, neither a female, is neither the mind nor the intelligence. It is the creation. And the second thing, it represents the sunlight as such, like a aura, digestive energy put together, but it's not have any gender as such. Then come to the next level of Skand Mata, which is Karthik's mother, is the fifth stage of separation, and I think you are reaching the much higher levels of consciousness. And in this picture you can see her with Karthik, a sick head Karthik sitting on her lap. That means you have come to a stage of 6 heads, goddess Durga or Satchakra Nirupana itself. Satchakra Nirupana only 6 chapters, and I think up to this level you have come very clearly to that stage. But seen now in this particular thing, you are connected with Anahata chakra in the heart, which is connected with prana prana. Apana prana, samana prana, you have come to prana prana level. And the phonetic sound is yam, lam, ram, vam, ram and yam. And that 12 patterns, 4, 6, 10 plus 12. Now it's associated with sun, which is presiding deity, which is Sunday. I think you have come to the days also clear very clearly. Rahu is earth, but other 7 you are going to see, and when you come to Ketu, I am going to explain to you and come to the Ketu level. Now Katyani is the mother Skandmatra, is the 6th level of stage evolution. And this you can see as such as a divine mother, which is exactly like Katyayani. Maybe it has to be understood in the right. But come to the question, it is associated with Shuddhi Chakra and has 16 petals. This is Sanskrit takes vowels 16. A, A, E, U, Le, Le, Do, Kang. All the 16 put together will give you movement of energy from soul to the head step by step. Is very evolutionary knowledge, and I think I have experienced it. It's a beauty. And the sound is hum. I think I've written on the hum. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, and Hum. We have come very clearly these sounds. And the planet which is connected with is Mars, Mangal. It is Mars, is a male planet, all said and done. And it's also associated with Udhana Prana, Apana Prana, Samana Prana, Prana Prana to Udana Prana. All the fours have come right up to this level. But this is also something which made me realize that blue, black, red, blue throat, Neelkant of Shiva actually is iodine, and the thermogenic I have already explained. I think that was also realized the beauty of Vishuddhi Chakra and that particular level as such. And then come to the Kalrati, which is the body of Ketu asteroid belt and is the seventh stage of spiritual evolution. We have come to this stage. Dark night of time and space is called Ratri, and sound is connected with Ajna Chakra, which has got two petals. What is more important is you have come Hum and Sham as the two words which are associated with womb towards that is this particular thing. First is Sat Chakra Nirpanas, and second thing is my picture with respect to Ajna Chakra. Right up to Ajna Chakra are the six chakras which Sat Chakra Nirpana talks about it. I think we have come to the sixth chakra at the seventh level because I have put Manipura as additional to Nabhi. But of course, Sat Chakra also talks about it, but both mixed together. That's why I've shown it together. Now it is associated with asteroid belt or the Ketu body, and that's the picture. I think Kalratri is with that because everything is broken into this, and that is where I would even say this is the Loka where even Vishwamitra created for Lok for the king itself. Now come to the next stage of Mahagauri at the 8th level as a pure divine. Mahar means pure, Gauri is white. White divine consciousness is the next stage which come to, which is 8th stage of spiritual science. When come to the, you can see the clarity very clearly. She is pure in everything and live with that. And it is associated with Dhyan Chakra, which is 52 lotus petals or Sanskrit language complete. The prefix is Tri, you can see it, and suffix is Gyan. Both Trilok, Tridevi and Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, they put together into this, and this is associated with the hypothalamus, and that is the picture which I have made way back in 1997 and made me understand a divine mathematics making this picture as such, and it's all gods and goddesses, everything in this as an innate form. I think that's amazing, which we're going to talk about it as we move on. And it is connected with Jupiter, which is the Guru. This is knowledgeable. So this is where intelligence comes to play a role. And as you can see, this is Brihaspati or the Guru, which gives the knowledge of intelligence to the world as such as a Mahagauri. Then come to the question of 9th level is a SIDDHIDATRI. She is the one which is going to give you blessings or siddhis, powers, occult thing. She is the goddess of occult blessings, occult powers, siddhis by and large. And once you reach that level, whatever you say will come true. That's the 9th stage of spiritual science as such. It's amazing. That means she is the goddess of divine blessings, and she is going to bless you. Whatever you come to mind, she will say Tathastu. Let good things happen to you. Let you have the powers of doing things which takes you to the universal consciousness. Maybe having experienced that within my body, whatever I say always comes true. And that is the reality since my childhood, unconsciously, subconsciously, now superconsciously. Then come to the question of knowledge. She is the Pragyan Yoga. From Vigyan is science to absolute wisdom, and it is the 96 petals. And this is not what Satt Chakra Nirvana talks about it. And it's also like third of your divine creation, which also made me realize the formula of 22 by 21. And this is a picture of, upper picture is of centriole, which is responsible for making cell made of 21 parts become 22 and create a new daughter cell. I think that the beauty lies only in centriole and not anything else. And there are centrosome which has got two centrioles as one part to make it 21. But these two parts split together to make it 22 parts, and that's what has made me understand the beauty of Brahmank as 22 by 21. And same thing, 96 petals you can see in the picture of Pragyan Yoga which I have made. Pictures of both at the 9 level speaks volume as such, and I'm glad I have come to that level one by one. Now, as far association is concerned, SIDDHIDATRI is with the Saturn, and that is ninth level by and large we corrected. By this time, we have understood all the 7 days with the 7 days, 7 planets as such, Rahu and Ketu as Earth and asteroid belt. As a result, astronomical knowledge by the modern science and astronomical knowledge by the Indians as Rahu and Ketu shown that is identical. I think that speaks volume. I think we are literally come to the end of the show, and let's go to the next stage. I'm not going to talk much about this because wisdom is there. We are going to see more and more. We have already seen. I think let's move on to the next stage, and thank you. Thank you very much.